Good evening, I'm Tony DeCopel, and we begin here in New York City, where the now deposed president and former First Lady of Venezuela appeared today in federal court just 2 days after U.S. commandos snatched them from a compound in Caracas. The historic pictures coming in all day. Nicolás Maduro and Cilia Flores under heavy guard, clad in those blue jail shirts. And then once inside the court, they pleaded not guilty to all the charges against them. Maduro at one point tried to rise and address the court before the judge cut him off. Let's go straight to Matt Gutman, our chief correspondent, our new chief correspondent, by the way. Welcome. He was there for all of it, and he joins us now from the Federal Detention Center in Brooklyn, where Maduro and his wife are being held at this hour. Matt, good evening.
Good evening, Tony. It has been a stunning turn of events for Maduro, who just a couple of days ago was the ruler of an oil-rich nation. Now he is in a freezing jail cell in that detention facility behind me. Now, in court earlier, he was both compliant and defiant, saying that he was kidnapped, but also that he is still the legal president of Venezuela.
Under heavy guard, Nicolás Maduro and his wife Cilia Flores were flown from a federal jail in Brooklyn to Manhattan this morning. Surrounded by Drug Enforcement Agency officials, the shackled former president of Venezuela shuffled from the chopper to an armored vehicle and was then driven to a federal courthouse, where he was greeted by the NYPD and protesters.
What we have right now are demonstrators here right outside the courthouse. They're saying, "Who are we, Venezuela? What do we want? Freedom." Now, they've been here for about 2 hours. On the other side, there are people who oppose his detention.
Inside the courtroom, Maduro, in a dark prison jumpsuit, was initially defiant, declaring through a translator that he's a decent man, was innocent of all the charges, and was still the president of Venezuela. Both he and his wife then pleaded not guilty. Maduro faces 4 federal drug and weapons-related charges. He was indicted during the first Trump administration in 2020. Federal prosecutors accused Maduro, his wife, sons, and others of partnering with some of the most violent and prolific drug traffickers and narco-terrorists in the world to distribute thousands of tons of cocaine to the United States for decades. Saturday's risky operation by the U.S. military sliced right into the heart of Venezuela's capital. During the raid, Flores' attorney said she may have suffered an injury to her ribs. It is unclear if Maduro was injured, but in court the judge promised them full medical attention. What happens next?
So the arraignment is the official start of this clock ticking for the trial. Both sides have waived their right to a speedy trial, meaning this could be quite a bit of time. There will be multiple...
Meaning months, years?
Absolutely.
Now, at one point during the arraignment, it seemed that Maduro was trying to grandstand, and the judge shut him right down. He said, "I just need to know that you understand the charges against you and your rights." Now, at this point, Maduro's lawyers have waived his right to bail, which means he'll be staying in that detention facility behind me. His next court appearance is March 17th, Tony.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Glad to have you with us. While Maduro and his wife are in a cell here in America, a battle is underway for their country, for the future of Venezuela. Who's in charge there? Is it Maduro's deputies or is it the United States? Ed O'Keefe is on this tonight for us from the White House. Ed, good evening to you.
Tony, good evening. More than 48 hours since the U.S. pulled Maduro out of Venezuela, there are still few answers about what's next, with the president and some of his top aides saying different things about what to expect.
President Trump's national security team briefed senior lawmakers tonight amid mounting questions over the strategy in Venezuela. The president has threatened more strikes if current Venezuelan leaders don't behave, and announced the U.S. is now in charge of a country of 31 million people and its vast oil reserves.
Don't ask me who's in charge, because I'll give you an answer and it'll be very controversial.
What does that mean?
It means we're in charge.
But Secretary of State Marco Rubio said they're mainly pressuring the country economically.
What you're seeing right now is an oil quarantine that allows us to exert tremendous leverage over what happens next.
While Trump's UN ambassador today downplayed talk of total control.
There is no war against Venezuela or its people. We are not occupying a country.
Much of Maduro's regime is still in office. Today, his number 2, Delcy Rodriguez, was sworn in as interim president. Trump has threatened she could go next if she doesn't allow full U.S. access to Venezuela's vast oil supplies.
We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure.
Top oil industry leaders are expected to meet with administration officials later this week about how to tap back into the reserves, a years-long project that could cost tens of billions of dollars. Connecticut Democrat Chris Murphy believes it's now clear removing Maduro wasn't about curbing drug trafficking.
Donald Trump is saying out loud that it's just about the oil. He just wants his rich oil industry friends, who he promised to help in exchange for $1 billion contribution to his campaign, to have access to Venezuelan oil.
Now, when asked, the president was questioned about whether or not he's ruling out military action against other countries. He suggested Colombia and Cuba are among those that could face potential military action. He once again also didn't rule out taking over Greenland, but it's controlled by Denmark, whose prime minister said today if the U.S. attacks the land of a fellow NATO ally, then, quote, everything would stop. That includes NATO. Tony?
All right, Ed, thank you very much. We'll leave it there. We are learning more about the U.S. mission to capture Maduro and his wife early Saturday, how it all played out, and with no loss of American life. National security correspondent Charlie Daggett has the latest on that.
The operation to capture and arrest Nicolás Maduro was months in the planning, but also a total surprise to the Venezuelan dictator.
Nicolás Maduro got to meet some great Americans for a night vision goggles 3 nights ago. He didn't know they were coming until 3 minutes before they arrived. In fact, his wife said, I think I hear aircraft outside.
200 Americans executed the raid. Fighter jets and bombers took out Venezuelan air defenses, paving the way for Delta Force commandos to close in on the compound, where they came under fire.
They got off the helicopter and the bullets were flying all over the place. As you know, one of the helicopters got hit pretty badly. But we got everything back.
Several soldiers were injured. Dozens of Venezuelans were killed, and Cuba's government said 32 of its citizens who served on Maduro's security team also died.
But there was a lot of death on the other side, unfortunately. But a lot of Cubans were killed yesterday, trying to protect him.
Once U.S. forces breached the compound, they managed to stop Maduro before he got into a safe room. Commandos had rehearsed the raid for months using a replica of Maduro's compound.
We train, we rehearse, we debrief, we rehearse again.
CIA personnel have been on the ground since August, tracking Maduro's movements, including an agent who penetrated his inner circle and provided key intelligence. And that massive U.S. military buildup remains off the coast of Venezuela. In fact, we're learning tonight they're planning to intercept another oil tanker that they've been pursuing for weeks. Tony?
All right, Charlie, thank you very much. Maduro's capture is prompting strong reaction from Venezuelans here in the United States and those who fled across the border into Colombia. We're going to have 2 reports tonight, beginning with Lilia Luciano on the Colombia-Venezuela border. Lilia, good evening.
Tony, let's talk about the big picture. The future of Venezuelans hangs on who gets to lead long-term that country. And that battle right now is between 2 very powerful women.
En nombre de todos los venezolanos,
Delcy Rodriguez, the acting president, has been a Maduro loyalist and leading figure within the regime for nearly 8 years. She is now striking a delicate balance, telling the U.S. she wants lasting cooperation, while also telling the Venezuelans she condemns the Maduro capture as a kidnapping. As his vice president in 2024, she backed the election results, which were declared fraudulent by international monitors.
We're seeing a group of protesters in the front.
We were the only U.S. network crew on the ground in Caracas with opposition leader Maria Corina Machado when Maduro declared victory.
Protest violations of the popular will.
Soon after, Maduro threatened Machado with arrest, and she went into hiding. In October, when she won the Nobel Peace Prize, she appeared confident.
The regime change was already mandated by the Venezuelan people.
But President Trump on Saturday said Machado lacks the support and respect of the Venezuelan people needed to lead them. While here many remain skeptical, there has been a strong reaction among Venezuelans living in the United States. To hear what they have to say, my colleague Cristian Benavides is in Doral, Florida.
Well, for many, there is a sense of euphoria here and cautious optimism about the future of Venezuela.
Across the United States, Venezuelans erupted in celebration over Maduro's ouster. In Florida, Andrea Ramos brought her 2 young children to witness history.
I didn't think I was going to live to see this happening, honestly.
She left Venezuela in 2016 and hopes Maduro's capture will lead to freedom and democracy.
I'm just extremely happy and thankful to the U.S. government for everything that's going on.
Hands up, Venezuela! Anti-interventionist activists have also taken to the streets.
It speaks to the mass nature of this movement that so many people stand against this war.
Some Venezuelans do wonder just who will lead the country until an election can take place.
That's something huge because we are like an independent republic.
Yet most Venezuelans we spoke to, such as Jose Cruz, said U.S. control may be necessary to stabilize the nation.
We do love the United States, but our country is Venezuela.
It's been more than 25 years since Venezuela has been a democracy, and those we spoke to here said there is now hope that could change. Tony?
You can feel it. Cristian, thank you very much. Appreciate it. The arrest of Maduro sent oil stocks higher today, with Chevron leading the way. The Dow hit a record high of nearly 49,000. Oil prices are also up. So what does that mean for the price you pay at the pump? Business analyst Jill Schlesinger is here to talk about it. All right, Jill. So a lot of focus here on the oil industry, those huge reserves. How quickly can we see an impact on the market here?
I think this is a long-term project, and we have to understand that although that Venezuela is sitting on over 300 billion barrels of oil, only 3/4 of it is easy to extract. That's one problem. The second problem is the infrastructure to do the refining really needs an upgrade. It's been degraded over 2 decades. So what we're looking for is billions of dollars of investment by U.S. companies who believe that will pay off over time. I really think we've got to set our sights to the long term, meaning not days, not months, but years.
Really? I mean, talk to me more about this, how long term. So we're talking years before the average consumer could see a change in their prices at the pump?
I think that for right now, what's moving price at the pump is the global economy. And if you look at last year, because the global economy slowed down, crude oil went down by over 22%. That led to lower gas prices. Gas prices are actually 25 cents a gallon cheaper today than they were a year ago. That's going to be the more important thing. What Americans can expect is the global economy will dominate.
All right, as it always does. Jill, thank you very much. You dominate. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. As you just heard from Jill, we should not expect this to affect gas prices much, which does raise the question of how exactly it helps the United States, if it helps the United States at all. What is this actually about? Well, if you zoom out, you can maybe see at least the outlines of an answer. For decades now, Russia, China, and Iran have been building a presence in Venezuela, a base of power and influence there in this hemisphere. With Maduro now out, that base of power and influence could be out too.